There is a single moment at the edge of Mount Doom where the story could have gone two completely different ways, and for one breath, nobody, not Frodo, not Sam, not even Tolkien's narration, tells us which one was ever more likely. A creature who had spent 500 years being nothing but hunger and want stands at the edge of the only thing he ever loved, close enough to touch it, and something in him almost stops. Tonight we don't ask how Gollum became a monster. Everyone already knows that story. We ask about the half-second where he almost wasn't one. You don't need to know how a story ends to stay for the whole thing. That's true of Mount Doom, and it's true of this channel too. If that's the kind of watching you like to do, subscribe now, because there's another quiet moment like this one waiting after this. To understand what almost happened at the edge of that fire, you have to understand what Gollum actually was before he was Gollum at all. He had a name once, Sméagol, a river hobbit, curious and clever, unremarkable except for the one afternoon his cousin pulled a golden ring out of the water, and Sméagol decided, in the space of a single ugly moment, that he wanted it more than his own family. He strangled a friend for it. Not a monster reaching for power, a person choosing and then living the rest of his life inside that choice. That's the part the story rarely lets you forget, even when it wants you to hate him. Gollum wasn't born wrong. He was made wrong, slowly, by something that found the smallest crack of want in an ordinary person and spent 500 years widening it. By the time Frodo meets him, there's barely a person left, just two competing voices arguing over the same starved, twisted body, one still faintly remembering what kindness felt like, the other only remembering hunger. And that's exactly what makes the road to Mordor so unbearable to watch, if you're paying attention to Gollum instead of just tolerating him. Frodo does something almost no one else thinks to do. He shows Gollum mercy, again and again, long after mercy stops looking like strategy and starts looking like faith. He calls him by his old name. He trusts him to guide them, even when trusting him is clearly a mistake. And for a while, it almost works. There's a scene, quiet and easy to miss, where Sméagol watches Frodo sleeping, and something in his ruined face softens into something that looks almost like love. He reaches out. He almost, for one unwitnessed moment, chooses to stay that way. Then Sam wakes up, sees a starving creature reaching toward his sleeping master, and assumes the worst. He says so, sharply. And Gollum, who had just spent one fragile moment closer to being Sméagol again than he'd been in centuries, closes back up, like a wound sealing over dirt. Whatever nearly happened doesn't happen. The story doesn't dwell on it. It just moves on, the way real turning points often do, quietly, missed by almost everyone involved, mattering more in hindsight than they ever could in the moment. That's the tragedy underneath the tragedy everyone already knows. Gollum wasn't simply evil, waiting to be punished. He was, for one real moment, a person standing at a fork in the road, genuinely uncertain which way he was going to go, and the fork closed before anyone, including him, fully understood what had almost happened. By the time they reach Mordor, whatever chance there was has mostly burned away. Betrayal follows. Shelob follows. And still, somehow, the story keeps circling back to him, keeps refusing to let him become simply the villain. Which brings us to the fire. Frodo, standing at the one place built to unmake the ring, fails, not through weakness, through the same slow erosion that had already hollowed out Gollum centuries earlier, the same hunger finally closing its hand around someone else. He claims the ring instead of destroying it, and the entire quest comes down to a creature everyone had already written off as beyond saving. Gollum attacks. He bites the ring from Frodo's hand, and for one instant, standing at the edge of the fire that could unmake everything he'd ever wanted, he has exactly what he sacrificed his entire self to get. And here's the part worth sitting with, rather than rushing past toward the ending everyone already knows. For that one instant, he isn't thinking about the fire at all. He's not thinking about danger or escape or anything except finally holding the only thing he ever really loved. He doesn't jump. He doesn't choose the fire. He simply doesn't see it coming, because for the first time in 500 years, he isn't afraid of anything. He's happy, genuinely, completely happy, in a way the story has never once shown him being. And then he's gone. Not defeated, not redeemed exactly either. Just gone, mid-joy, taking the ring down into the fire without ever meaning to, without ever choosing it. It's worth asking what that means, instead of accepting it as narrative convenience. The ring is destroyed not by anyone's strength or virtue, but by a creature who never once chose to be good, and yet without whom nothing could have ended the way it needed to. Frodo's mercy, extended over and over, is the only reason Gollum is even standing at that ledge to begin with. Every act of kindness that looked wasted, every choice to trust someone the story kept warning you not to trust, turns out to have been quietly necessary all along. Maybe that's the real ending Tolkien was writing toward the whole time. Not Gollum's redemption. He never gets that. Not cleanly, not in any way he'd recognize as one. Just this. A broken, ruined person, given chance after chance he mostly wasted, whose one moment of pure, unstrategic happiness turns out to be the exact instant the world was saved. Not because he was good, because somebody, once, refused to stop believing he still could be, long after it stopped making any sense to. Sméagol never got to know that. He died still holding the only thing he ever loved, thinking, for one single joyful second, that he'd finally won. If this story moved you, there are more waiting, quiet corners of Middle-earth that history remembers, but rarely feels. Subscribe and walk them with us.